Well, in chapter 4, we discuss the hidden, secret, but absolutely fundamental activity associated with the promotion of the gospel. Prayer. And it's really important to sort of slow down and reflect on this topic, especially if you have an over-eager personality, activist personality. You like doing stuff, give me the latest strategy, give me the latest book on evangelism. Not that there's anything wrong with books on evangelism. Give me the latest program, don't talk to me about prayer. Those kinds of people, me, need to slow down and hear from the New Testament how important prayer is, how fundamental prayer is. When I first became a Christian, it was through this woman I told you about at the beginning of chapter 3, who had taught scripture lessons in the local high school for about 10 years with little observable fruit, actually. And then all of a sudden, in the year in which I and a whole bunch of my friends became Christians, there was just this explosion of gospel work going on. And it turns out that she and a whole bunch of her scripture teaching friends had got together and decided to make that year a year of prayer. I mean, they'd always prayed for their ministry, but they decided to make it a special year where they would really cry out to the Lord of the harvest to grant them success in the harvest field. And by the end of that year, she was hosting hamburger and Bible sessions. Sometimes up to 20 people would turn up to her home. 6 of us became Christians from the one class, and 3 of us from that one class are now full-time gospel workers in different parts of the world. And a few years after all of that, just as I was starting out to be a professional evangelist, I went to this woman again and asked her what was the secret, because I was really into sort of creative things. I was a musician and trying to combine music with reaching out to others, and I loved anything that was creative and dynamic and a little out of the box, right? And I said, what was the key to that success you had that year? And she said, without blinking, prayer. And I thought, prayer? Really? You sure there isn't some strategy, some really cool thing you could teach me? No, she said, prayer. We just cried out to God to have mercy. And by the end of the year, there you all were. And I went away, and it was a really beautiful reminder, especially to someone with my kind of personality, who likes to do stuff rather than just pray about it, that actually you are doing stuff when you're praying about it. Prayer is fundamental to the mission. You find it in Jesus, where he says, the harvest is plentiful, the workers are few, therefore ask the Lord of the harvest. The word there is actually beg. Beg the Lord of the harvest to send out workers. And then you find it throughout all of Paul's letters as well, when he urges his congregations to get involved in the gospel mission. More than any other activity, prayer is what he asks for. Pray that the gospel workers would have success, that the gospel would advance and be successful. Pray for non-Christians. Prayer. And there's this one lovely passage in Colossians 4 where he says, and pray that God would open a door for the gospel, even though I am in chains. And I love it because what he's basically saying is, doesn't matter what happens to me. Sure, the chief messenger's locked up in jail. No big deal. Just pray that the gospel won't be locked up, and that'll be fine. And when you think about it, it's a delightful irony, and only prayer could ensure that it would happen, that the chief messenger, locked up in jail, would not hinder the advance of the gospel. And what we're being reminded here is the fundamental reason prayer is so important. In prayer, we lift the work of the gospel above mere circumstances into the hands of the one who governs everything.